Hi, this is Eric from longboxreview.com. Welcome to my video. I decided to do a quick, well, we'll see how quick it is. I decided to do this video because I was preparing my uh, uh, comic book order for the month, looking through previews. And this is, I'm going to share some things with you guys that I found while I was leafing through previews, things that I thought were interesting. And hopefully you will too. So let's get started. So as you can see there, hopefully you're seeing this. It is the previews cover, the Dark Nights Metal side of previews for July 2017 for things that are going to be shipping mostly in, what is it, July, August, September. September, I believe, is the correct answer there. So first up is this this hardcover. There we go. I hope you're seeing that now. This hardcover from Dark Horse. It's called Best Wishes by Mike Richardson and Paul Chadwick, and it was Paul Chadwick that got me or caught my attention. It's about two strangers who cast coins into a Central Park fountain. Their dreams and desires become supernaturally intertwined. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So this is Paul Chadwick's first published comics work since 2013. And you might know Paul Chadwick from his Concrete comics. Anyway, so you can check that out. From DC, we have Bombshells United, which is a new version of Bombshells, a new volume, I guess. Anyway, it says they're back for an all-new series. I got the original Bombshells stuff. It was actually one of the very first, if not the first, comics that I bought from Comixology, and I read several of those, and then I ended up getting a bunch of the printed versions. And anyway, this is got this nice Wonder Woman cover by Terry Dodson, the Dodsons. And so Wonder Woman's going to Arizona to help two young girls named Cassie Sandsmark and Donna Troy. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I like the way that Marguerite Bennett and company are tying into these characters and the lore of the characters, but in a different setting. And then we have this odd thing. I know DC's doing this a lot, where they are doing their licensed comics, the based off of old cartoons. And here's one I vaguely recall watching this cartoon, Dastardly and Muttley, and so now we have a comic book version, a 6-issue miniseries. I don't know. I know a lot of people are interested in these kinds of comics, but it's just weird to me, especially when you see a human-looking dog, you know, on the cover here. Oh well. If you like that kind of stuff, there you go. And then we have a new Jack Kirby the Demon trade collection. It's August is Jack Kirby's 100th birthday, I believe. Anyway, so DC last month and now this month in previews has a bunch of Jack Kirby stuff coming out, and now we get the first, what is it, 16, the original 16-issue run of that series. I actually have this #1 issue that's shown here on the cover. And it's Kirby's Demon's a lot of fun to look at the very least. So Detective Comics 965, interesting for a couple reasons. One, I stopped getting Detective after the first, I don't know, 4 or 5 issues after Rebirth. I'm coming back to this for a couple reasons. One is we get Tim Drake back or at least a story focused on Tim Drake, who was removed from the table, removed from play by the mysterious Mr. Oz. And so that's the man. I like Tim Drake, Robin, or Red Robin, I guess. God, I really hate the fact that he's Red Robin as opposed to Robin, but I know that Damien's Robin now. Whatever. Anyway, um, it's called A Lonely Place of Living. Now, for those that may not know, there was a story involving Tim Drake years and years ago, and the Titans and Nightwing. It was called A Lonely Place of Dying, and that's where Batman was kind of going off and living on the edge a little bit, and Tim and Dick and others were really worried about Batman because he was just having a bad time. Anyway, so it's a play on that, or it's a connection to that. But as the text here says, this is one of the biggest stories of the Rebirth era, setting the stage for an explosive Detective Comics epic. We shall see. But I'll jump on it for a while and see if it actually is as epic as they are claiming. Flash by Mark Waid. This is the third collection. I know that there's a lot of Flash fans out there, and actually I'm not one of them all that much, but I do like Mark Waid's writing, and I meant to look at this before I started this video. I have at least one of the Mark Waid written collections of the Flash, so I'm not sure if I'll be getting this one or not. For some reason, I don't think I ordered the second trade by Mark Waid and company. So I don't know. I'll have to go look at that one. But I like Mark Waid stuff, like I said. And you got that nice. It says here cover art Alan Davis and Mark Farmer. So yeah, it's right. It says right there on the front. So I always like that. I always like Alan Davis's stuff. So speaking of comics or cartoons turned comics, you have this Flintstones first and second trades being available. And when I first read about the Flintstones series from DC, I just kind of poo-pooed it a little bit. I didn't think it was going to be all that interesting, but ever since then, as is often the case, I was proven wrong, or at least I was told I was wrong, because I heard from many people that I trust that the Flintstones comic was actually really good. So I might be ordering both of these this month now that they're both available. And so I get the full 12-issue series. I was kind of thinking maybe I'd wait until like a full 12-issue collected edition came out, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just get these. Here is a collection of these Elseworld tales, the JLA, the Nail, and Another Nail. Those are two different volumes, both 3 issues each, collected in a single hardcover for the first time, it says. And so this is the Elseworld story where the Kents never found Kal-El. And so years passed and there is no Superman, but the other Justice League members do get together. And then there's a whole interesting story around that. So as you can see, Superman is on the cover. So, he does show up, but it's a different world. And it was actually really well done. Alan Davis again, doing stuff here. This time he's writing it as well as drawing it. And so that was a plus for me. I actually have all these issues, the individual issues, and I really enjoyed this story. More Justice League. This is the Justice League of America, the Detroit era omnibus hardcover. I know a lot of people don't like the Detroit era Justice League for some reason. I happen to like it. I read several of the issues, but not all of them. And so this collects about 30 issues of JLA, an annual, looks like an Infinity Inc. issue, a few issues of JLA Classified and JLA Retroactive, which I actually have. that issue. This is by Jerry Conway, J.M. DeMatteis, Chuck Patton, and various other artists on there. I always enjoyed this. Not enough to go buy a $125 retail book, let alone a $63 discounted price that I get from this vendor. But I'm really tempted, though. I think if I don't get this, I may end up like getting a bunch of these issues, the original JLA issues from that time period. It's one of those comics, or one of those runs of the JLA that I'm interested in, and I kind of wish I hadn't gotten rid of the comics that I had. But there you go. So I'm not reading Supergirl. In general, there's a few issues where she teamed up with Batgirl that I'm currently reading, but other than that, I'm not really interested in this character, or at least this interpretation of this character right now. But the reason I include this is there's a story going on in Supergirl right now where she's going up against the Emerald Empress, which is a character from the Legion of Superheroes, and as you can see on the cover here, she's tearing the Emerald Eye of Ekron, I believe is what it's called, the Emerald Eye of Ekron, apart. It's like, wow. So I was really tempted to read this story, the Emerald Eradication storyline, because of the Emerald Empress, but I never pulled the trigger on that. But I like this cover. I like this idea that a Legion of Superheroes character is in modern day DC universe. Lots of DC, just because that's what catches my eye mostly. But here is Wonder Woman 31. This is a new storyline with a new creative team. Children of the Gods as the storyline. This is where writer James Robinson comes in to take over the writing duties of Wonder Woman with Carlo Pagulayan. I hope I said that correctly, as the artist. But what we're seeing is a Brian Hitch cover. This is where I'm going to jump off of Wonder Woman, actually. But if you are, if you end up reading this and you tell me that it was pretty good, I might pick up the trade. Let's see, more Wonder Woman and Conan 6-issue miniseries. This is a interesting team up, I guess. But it's written by Gail Simone with Aaron Lopresti doing the art, along with Matt Ryan. Good creative team in Simone and Lopresti. I like his work, and I like her work. I don't really care for Conan. Never have. But I always like to see these co-publisher endeavors. So this is from Dark Horse and DC. If you read this, let me know how it was. Oh, this is okay. So a few years back, Pierre Collinet and Elsa Chartier came out with The Infinite Loop, and that was one of my favorite comics that year. And they're back with The Infinite Loop, Nothing But the Truth. Now, Collinet and Chartier are writing it, but Chartier is not drawing it. So that's kind of a drawback for me. However, we've got Danielle Di Nicolo doing the art. What we're seeing, though, on the cover is Cliff Chiang art. There's several covers that are available, but I chose to spotlight this one because I like Cliff Chiang's work. So I have no idea really what the new artist is going to be doing, or what kind of style this artist has, how it's going to compare to Chartier's work on the original series. But the original series was such an interesting story and characters and concept that I'm back for this next version of The Infinite Loop. And I encourage you to check it out. At least go get the original series, which is available in trade, I'm pretty sure, still. So go check that out. Oh, and this is from IDW, as you can see. Also from IDW, Ben Templesmith. I love this guy. He's an interesting guy himself. He has a very distinctive art style which I really like. This is his Wormwood Gentleman Corpse property, a new series. It says here issue 1 of 3, so it's only 3 issues. I may just get this instead of waiting for a trade. But Mr. Wormwood Goes to Washington. Nice little play on the Jimmy Stewart movie from years and years ago. Kingsman. So if you read or if you've seen the movie The Kingsman, there's a new movie coming out very soon, I believe. Yeah, in September. Yeah, The Kingsman, The Golden Circle. That's the new movie coming out. But this is based on the Mark Miller and Dave Gibbons book, Secret Service. But now we have I guess a sequel of sorts to that, where it's actually called Kingsman instead of Secret Service. But this is the Red Diamond. It's not written or drawn by either of the original creators. This is written by Rob Williams and Simon Fraser on the art. I just pointed out because I really actually quite enjoyed the Secret Service series. I really enjoyed the movie adaptation of that, and I'm looking forward to the next movie as well. So there's a nice, I guess, tie-in to that. Here we go. This is from Image Comics, Retcon #1 from Matt Nixon and Toby Cypress. I only want to point this out because of when I read the solicitation here. The reboot of a comic book miniseries that has never existed begins with an all-new, all-different issue #1. Time to travel back and jump in on this comic while it was new. That was pretty creative. I have no idea what this comic is about, and I'm not going to get it, but I really liked this solicitation. Let's see here. Also from Image, Scales and Scoundrels. So if you want to catch my eye, there are certain things that I love. Dragons is one of them. You put a dragon on a cover, I will guarantee I will look at it. And so it's like that old adage of you put an ape on the cover, that comic will sell. Well, for me, not necessarily sell, but it certainly brings my attention to it. So I see this dragon on here. It looks like it could be a really interesting story from, or a comic from Sebastian Geimer. And artist is Jalad. Again, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But so there's a treasure hunter, Luvander, tired of being penniless. So ever in search of gold and glory, she sets off for a fabled dungeon, the Dragon's Maw. Where at the bottom of which slumbers endless wealth or certain doom, of course. But what starts out as a road to riches becomes the first step on an epic journey to destiny for Luvander. So that could be the next big fantasy type comic. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't decided if I want to get this or not. I'll probably wait on this one, actually, because I just have too many comics that I want to get already. Moving on to Marvel. Holy mackerel! This is an Alex Ross variant of Marvel Legacy #1 at $75. Jeez. I like Alex Ross, but not that much. Anyway, this is the new. This is Marvel's rebirth in my mind. However, I don't know what this is about. It says everything starts here. It begins at the dawn of the human race and ends with a child's prayer. In between, empires fall, mysteries brew, secrets are revealed, quests are undertaken, and legends are forged. All leading up to the dramatic return you've been waiting for and one you've been dreading. What is this about? Anyway, this is by Jason Aaron and Asad Ribic, both excellent creators. So I'm really tempted just because of the creative team, but I don't know. I have no idea what this is, and that bugs me. I really like though how Alex Ross is drawing the Hulk like the Hulk used to be or used to look. That's really cool. Although his Iron Man looks kind of weird. His iron looks kind of liquidy, like it's mercury or something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's see here. Also back, Runaways. So if you read the original Runaways as I did, from the early 2000s, it says, that was a great comic. That was by, who was that by? Brian K. Vaughan, and I'm forgetting the artists right now, but I really enjoyed that book until Brian K. Vaughan stepped away from it. But it's back, and with the original cast. And this is going to be a spoiler, but it's here already. It's not like I'm spoiling it for you, but if you read this, you're going to be spoiled. Gert is back. Gert died in the original series. She sacrificed herself. So I don't know. Why do we need this? Although I have to say the writer's name, Rainbow Rowell. That's a neat name, Rainbow, with artist Chris Anka. I don't know who's demanding this, but here it is for those that want to read Runaways again. Speaking of a book that I want to read again, this is Stray. It's a new #1 from Action Lab. I read the trade a couple years ago. I actually did a podcast episode specifically about Stray, the entire book. And now Stray's back, and I really enjoyed it. So Stray, if you're not familiar, Stray is a former sidekick character who, after his father slash superhero partner, the Rottweiler, died, he basically takes over the family business and becomes his own superhero, with some issues along the way. So I'm really looking forward to this. And I guess we're also getting some retro stories with the Rottweiler years with artist Lee Gaston. But the main book is written by Vito Del Sante and Sean Isaacs, with various other people doing the art. So I'm looking forward to that. This from, what is this from? Aftershock Comics. Yeah. So Dark Ark. I have to say, Aftershock Comics, while I don't get a whole lot of them, actually don't think I'm getting any right now, but I've read a few over the last couple of years, and they always come out with really interesting stories. And this one also kind of caught my attention. The wickedness of mankind has moved the Creator to destroy the world by way of the flood. Noah has been tasked with building an ark to save his family and the animals of the world. But this is not Noah's story. For darker powers have commanded the sorcerer Shrey to build his own ark and save the unnatural creatures of the world, such as the vampires, dragons, the Naga, and the Manticore. But what will happen on a vessel crawling with monsters where insidious intrigue and horrific violence are the rule of law? This is written by Colin Bunn, artist Juan Doe. So they bring us a sinister tale of biblical proportions that had to be told at Aftershock Comics. I don't know about that, but still interesting. Boy, I really have to think about that one. That really intrigues me. So we'll see if I get that. Another Aftershock comic, of which I've read the first trade of Animosity, which I also spotlighted in a recent podcast episode. But this is The World of Animosity, again written by Marguerite Bennett, which is good, and Roberto Della Torre doing the art. So I imagine this is a journey through an apocalypse, like none ever imagined. This singular, it's a one-shot, brings us fans an exclusive look at the characters, creatures, maps, mysteries, enemies, histories, and the road so far in a world where the animals have risen up to take revenge. So it's got character designs, never before seen artwork, and summaries to bring readers up to speed and allow us to dive deep into new information. So it's not what I thought it was at first. I kind of thought maybe this was the beginning of a new miniseries that delved into other aspects of the world of Animosity, but this is really just resource material for fans of that series. So either way. From Boom Studios is this 5-issue miniseries, Lazaretto. I only want to point out, I only wanted to point this out because the elevator pitch is, this is the Lord of the Flies on a college campus. So a pandemic strikes, a dorm complex at a small American college is quarantined with all its students, and what first starts out as youthful freedom from authority soon devolves. Isn't that college generally? Soon devolves into a violent new society. So, yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I like the Ignacio Valicente cover. I don't know what Jay Levang's art looks like, but this art looks pretty good. And from Dynamite, if you're a fan of the John Wick films, and I am, here is a comic book version with Dennis Cohen and Bill Sienkiewicz cover that I'm showing here. But you get a series about John Wick. I don't know that you need that, but there you go. If you like comic book tie-ins to other media property, I guess here you go. I think watching the movies is enough for me, but maybe you feel differently. From Lion Forge is this graphic novel, Lighter Than My Shadow by Katie Green. So there was a full page ad in previews that caught my attention, and you could see on the cover here, this character, Katie, is walking through this forest, and you see the shadow is like all this really scribbly lines. It's not like you would kind of think of a normal shadow. So it looks really kind of sinister. And of course, there are some sinister things here. As it says, like most kids, Katie was a picky eater. She'd sit at the table in silent protest and listen to parental threats of having to eat her dinner for breakfast. God, what kid hasn't heard that from their parents one time or another? But normal behavior can soon turn into something sinister and deadly. This is a story of struggle, recovery, and a trip into the black heart of anorexia. It's an exposure of those who prey on the weak and an inspiration to anyone who believes in the power of human will to endure towards happiness. So that just sounds really cool. I am going to get that book. I think that's a really interesting story, bringing up some issues that, in a way via the comic book form that I think is really, really good. And I hope more people pick this up. And maybe people, talking about it, get other people interested and whatnot. So we'll see what the impact of this is. But I wish Miss Green luck in getting the word out for this book. And then finally, on my spotlight stuff for previews or from previews is this comic Made Men by Paul Tobin, Arjuna Susini and Gonzalo Duarte on the art. So this is one of those mashups, taking well-known concepts and tweaking them a little bit. I like the play of words with the title Made Men. You don't know Jute Shelley, but you might know her family. Before she was a Shelley, she was a Frankenstein. These days, she's a Detroit special ops officer. At least she was until she and her entire team were ambushed during what should have been a routine call. Jute watched as, one by one, her friends were gunned down, and then in a flurry of bullets, Jute fell too. But Jute isn't like other people. She's a Frankenstein, which we just were told. And she knows all her family's secrets. Guess who's getting the gang back together? I don't know who wrote that, but it's pretty good. Pretty good ad copy there. But I won't be reading this. But I just, it's cheeky enough to have gotten my attention. Okay, that's all I have for the books that I wanted to spotlight as from previews. As I was flipping through the catalog myself, as I was preparing my order for my comics to be shipped starting in September. If you would like, I have got a bunch of podcasts that I do at longboxreview.com. You can find that information there, as you can see on the screen. The last episode, 121, was about a 4-page comic that James Blundell and Hayawade Abubaran wrote or created, I should say, called The Hipster Beard. And go check it out. I've got a bunch of other ones, as you can see here. Anyway, you can check that out. Go to longboxreview.com. You can also leave comments where this video is posted. And if you would like to send me email, you may do so at longboxreview@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter at longboxreview. I would love to hear from you, and I thank you for watching this, and I look forward to reading your comments. All right, that's all I have. Thanks, everyone. I will talk at you later.